Hey, Pretty Girl Club, welcome back to the Creepyoticals series. And in this series, we talk about the gossip that is going on out here in these YouTube streets. So, this is going to be kind of like an exotical frequently asked questions episode, or kind of like me talking and addressing the gossip that I guess people are saying about the exoticals. You know that when you are on the pedestal, you get treated like a celebrity. By the way, be sure to check out my video called Pretty Women Get Treated Like Celebrities. But one of the talking points that people are saying is apparently we defend and promote colorism, texturism, and featureism. So my response is Black women told us to acknowledge our privilege. You guys have been telling us for decades, check your privilege, check your light skin privilege. You need to acknowledge your privilege. And so when we finally do, and we make YouTube channels to get out of your spaces, now suddenly it's we are promoting the isms. So that's just a silencing tactic. They're just mad because the existence of our spaces confirms their insecurities, but other people's insecurities are not my problem. Speaking about the existence of something doesn't mean that you're defending it. Like when you speak about the existence of capitalism, it doesn't mean you're defending it. It simply means that you're acknowledging that it exists, right? And by the way, the isms are not going anywhere. So pretending like colorism, texturism, and featureism doesn't exist, that doesn't mean that they're just all going to fall into the abyss. Like the bottom line is that sometimes people will put you on a pedestal. Okay, so pedestals aren't going anywhere. Lookism, colorism, texturism, featureism, capitalism, all of the different isms that exist in our society are not going anywhere. So I feel like people are just saying that because they don't want you to benefit from your privileges. They want you to acknowledge your privilege, but they don't want you to benefit from it. So this is all fake outrage because if you are watching this video right now, you benefit from capitalism. The fact that you even have access to Wi-Fi or a smartphone to even watch this video shows me that you yourself are benefiting from an ism in our society. So once again, this is fake outrage. People only get mad at the isms that they don't benefit from, but they have no problem acknowledging their privilege and benefiting from the cards that they were dealt with in life. If you're an attractive, unambiguous, dark-skinned Black woman, you benefit from lookism. So I don't see you complaining about that. Oh, it's bad that I benefit from pretty privilege, so I'm just going to try to be as ugly as possible. No, you don't do that. You proudly take whatever pedestal you've been given in life and you use that so you can support yourself and your family. All the other isms are no different. So if you think it's immoral to use how you were born in order to survive in an unfair society, this is not the channel for you. So keep scrolling, boo. This channel doesn't promote playing fair. Why should I play fair in an unfair world? And so for the women who get mad about that, I kind of feel like they seem to be mad because they view us as more privileged than them. But what they don't understand is that privilege is not a competition because it can't actually be quantified. Everybody just plays with whatever cards they were dealt in life. And some people will purchase some new cards. So for example, plastic surgeries or whatever. But Exoticals, we were dealt with the cards of benefiting from an ism. So yes, we will use our multiculturalism however we see fit, and you cannot control how we navigate through society. Okay, other people can't control how we identify ourselves. And I think part of the outrage is that unambiguous Black women are mad because they are not the core audience over here. Be sure to check out Regular Degular Black Girl. She did a video about this topic and about how people are trying to attack the exotical space. They're literally just mad that they can't control us. Another talking point that I heard is the exotical said Janet Jackson is an exotical and she's not. So they're trying to make the argument that Janet Jackson is too dark and too black to be exotified. But from what I see on these images of Janet Jackson, she appears to benefit from colorism due to her caramel skin tone. So if some of the exotical channels are placing her as an exotical, I have no problem with that. Some people would say that she is too dark skinned. Okay, well, we had a vote on this channel over a year ago on what our opinions are on what we will consider light skinned. You guys voted on Fenty shades 390 and above, and I'm standing 10 toes down with my audience. Okay, I have an international audience. A lot of people who speak against exoticals are very closed-minded people, I've noticed. They're very uneducated people on average. These are people who have never left their hometowns. And it's like the world doesn't revolve around what happened in Florida. The world doesn't revolve around what happens in Indianapolis. The world does not revolve around you, your family, or what happened in your home state or college. So On this channel, we believe that on an international level, on a worldwide scale, because we have a worldwide audience over here, it may be small, but it's growing, and we have a more diverse audience versus the types of people that are on dusty live streams or dusty like gossip sites and stuff. So on this channel, we believe that on a worldwide scale, Fenty 390 and above is what the Exoticals voted on to where they experienced some form of light skin privilege. So we're not changing that just because some dusty people think that Janet Jackson is too dark to benefit from it isn't. Also, wasn't Halle Bailey supposed to play Janet Jackson in a biopic or something? A lot of people talk about Halle Bailey's skin tone and they throw her in and out of being light skinned. So, I mean, that's a sign that you have light skin privilege. If people are arguing about the ambiguity of your skin tone, it's because there is ambiguity in your skin tone. They literally created the term unambiguous, meaning that there's no argument about your race or your skin tone. You are unambiguous. So if people are going back and forth, it means that you are inherently ambiguous because your experiences contradict one another. Also, has anyone noticed that there's no policing on whether or not men are light-skinned, only women? I've seen people call August Alsina light-skinned, The Game, the rapper. I've seen people call Little Scrappy light-skinned. I've seen all kinds of people call, like Trey Songz, all kinds of people who are way darker than myself or way darker than what a lot of people would consider a woman, like to be light skinned. So why is there no policing on men? There's only policing on women. Oh, what? Because you put light skin on a hierarchy and you think that being light skinned is a compliment and that being dark or brown is regular? Yeah, sounds like a personal problem to me. When it comes to Blackistan, a lot of them are so used to unambiguous people being replaced by the Beyoncés and the Rihannas in the media to the point that they don't even remember what true unambiguous black people look like. It's like they wanted an exclusive space, so they got it. So if you're an unambiguous dark-skinned black woman and you don't like the exotical space, that's fine. Feel free to subscribe to Chrissy's YouTube channel. If you want a YouTube channel that is dedicated to your plight, please go over to Chrissy's channel. Feel free to go to Queen Chama, I Am Aloho, The Mademoiselle, or any of those other channels. Nobody is forcing unambiguous women to follow our spaces. I'm actually shocked that they even know what's going on over here or that they even know our existence. Another thing that I heard about in the YouTube streets is that the exotical space makes mixed women look bad. But I thought that you guys just said that we weren't mixed. I thought that we were all unambiguous dark-skinned black women. So do you see how they throw us in and out of categories depending on how they want to insult us? So 1 minute it's you guys are all self-hating black women, and then the next minute you're making mixed women look bad. Well, I thought that we weren't mixed. Which one is it? Stop begging the exotical community to represent you. I never even said that I represent all mixed black women. Only dusty bum-ass bitches think the exotical community represents them. Okay? So they're putting us on such a high pedestal to the point where they think that the exotical space represents every single mixed woman on this earth. I don't represent you. I simply have more success and influence than you. Okay? Those are two different things. So this is why I also tell the Exoticals to start their own channels, because who better to represent you than yourself? Another woman will never be able to properly represent you, ever. I don't care if it's your own sister. Nobody else can represent you better than you represent yourself. This page is supposed to just be a starter page for those who are being introduced to this niche on YouTube. So from here, you can find other channels that resonate more closely with you. So we have South African content creators, we have white passing content creators in the exotical space, we have dark-skinned exoticals with channels, light-skinned monoracial women, you name it. So the fact that people think that the exotical YouTube channels are a representation of all mixed women all over the world, that tells you how high of a pedestal they place us on. I mean, I don't even say that about like the unambiguous content creators. I just call them out by name and say, hey, I don't like Chrissy's content. Like, I will call them out individually. I don't say all unambiguous black women act exactly like Chrissy. No, I'm not dumb enough to make a false equivalency like that. So the fact that people are even saying that we have the authority or the clout to even make mixed women as a whole look bad, I think that's insane. I think that's very parasocial. And I think that the only women who say that are women who are just mad at our influence. They just want to control our influence. They want to control how we run our community. And they're just mad because they can't run shit over here. So the next thing I heard from the Pretty Girl Club is that people are gossiping And like apparently there were unambiguous black women who were saying we have the same features and experiences as exoticals. They're not the only ones who are pretty. They're not the only ones who can social climb. They're not the only ones who get people being jealous of them. Okay, I never said that we were. You're just mad that you're not my core audience. This channel was created to specifically emphasize the experiences of the mixed black women or full black women who benefit from the different isms. Okay, this channel was created to be a source of micro-validation for biracial, multiracial, and black women who have been accused of benefiting from colorism, texturism, or featureism. I'm never going to stop uplifting the women of my community. So you can stay mad about that. I never even said nobody else can have the same experiences. Yeah, you guys probably do have similar experiences, but guess what? I don't give a fuck because my core audience isn't you, boo. My core audience is the Exoticals, and I'm going to continue to tell the story times and prioritize the story times of the different types of black women that are on this channel. Whether they're biracial black women, triracial black women, light-skinned black women, dark-skinned mixed women, doesn't matter. So you're just mad because I'm not emphasizing your plight. That's what that sounds like. Whenever they say, well, unambiguous black women, we've had people be jealous of us. Okay, then you make a channel that talks about the jealousy that you guys experience. And I know that a lot of you guys are doing that now. You're essentially copying the exotical space because we have also inspired a new wave of black empowerment content creators who are copying the types of story times and rhetoric that we talk about over here. And I'm not saying that that's invalid. I mean, you guys have valid talking points as well. Just give credit where credit is due. I'm giving credit to the Exoticals. So if you were so desperate to talk about pretty girl problems for unambiguous black women this whole time, why didn't you tell Chrissy? Why didn't you tell your content creators in your space? It sounds like they're just jealous of the branding that we have over in the Exotical space. Because this channel promotes us being the pretty girl club. Like I purposely call you guys the pretty girl club because that's a way of validating you. Instead of saying you're at the bottom and saying you're the least protected and the least desired and the last to get married. No, I understand subliminal messaging. I understand marketing. I understand public relations as well. And so the exotical space has done a fantastic job at growing as a community and also kind of emphasizing the positive sides of our multifaceted identities. So it sounds like those types of women are just jealous. Like, oh, well, exoticals aren't special. That's basically another variation of saying you're not special. We're pretty too. We get othered as well. We can be exotic too. So you're not special. That's just a variation of that talking point. It's just another gaslighting talking point. And if exoticals are not special, then just don't watch us. Problem solved. Another thing that I heard about in the pretty girl streets is that apparently the exoticals hate black women. Okay, so this is how I know that some of these people don't watch our content because Exotical is not a race, okay? From the beginning of my channel, and if you don't believe me, go to Chrissy's live stream where she was trying to diss me, and you'll see my profile picture actually has monoracial black women on it. So how can we hate black women when from the first time that I even came onto YouTube, I've always included different variations of monoracial black women in my Exotical posters on this YouTube channel, to the point where the actual Golden Sphere didn't like me or trust me because they didn't like my inclusion of dark-skinned mixed women or monoracial light-skinned black women. The Golden Sphere is still speaking negatively about my channel to this day because I saw one of you guys come into my Discord talking about them doing some sort of stream the other night or something. So me making videos calling out the hypocrisy of the black community is hatred. Do you see how they like to use all of these strong, sensationalized words? You guys hate black women. Oh, you just hate yourselves. Oh, you just hate anybody dark skinned. They're using that word hate because they simply can't handle the smoke from the exotical space. We provide too much anecdotal evidence over here. One of my strategies is I will use unambiguous black women's own content. I will use their own TikToks, their own videos, their own audios or whatever, and their comments to provide anecdotal evidence. So it sounds like you're just mad and you're calling that hate because you simply don't like when I call out any of your flaws. So if you view me calling out your flaws as me hating you, sounds like that's a you problem, boo. Another piece of juicy gossip that I heard in these pretty girl streets is that apparently we are all self-hating black women. So notice how they call us self-hating, yet they have no proof. And also, we don't care what they think of us anyway. I mean, we're not afraid of being called self-hating because that's just a silencing tactic. Like, if you like being light-skinned, you're self-hating. If you want to play into racial ambiguity, you're self-hating. All of those things that you're claiming as self-hating, black women, are things that you guys do yourselves. So it's not self-hate if a dark-skinned black woman wears a weave or gets a surgery, but it is self-hate if a mixed woman does the exact same thing. So do you see the silencing tactic? Do you see the situational ethics? They're hoping that we're scared of being called self-hating because they want us to be as dark as possible, as black as possible, as natural as possible, etc. Because in their eyes, it evens the playing field because they kind of have this mindset of how dare you already be born privileged and then use that privilege to your advantage. That's not fair. You're self-hating. And so my response to that is if the Exoticals are self-hating, then unambiguous black women as a whole are self-hating because there's nothing that any of the Exoticals are doing that unambiguous black women are not doing themselves as a whole when it comes to playing around with your appearance. Because they're talking about our appearances, like saying that if we wear weaves or curly extensions or whatever, that we must be self-hating. We're just trying to look as white as possible or as mixed as possible. Meanwhile, a lot of these women are actually mixed. It's like, okay, when an Exotical wears a weave, she simply looks like her mother. When you wear a weave, you look like a woman straight out of Nigeria who put on a weave. Okay, so I do actually believe that there's a difference because when an Exotical is playing into her ambiguity, she actually might have family members that have blue eyes or something like that. So if she wears blue contacts, maybe she looks like her mother when she wears her blue contacts or something, versus somebody who doesn't even look like they have that within the last 5 generations doing it. So I find it interesting how we already have close proximity to multiculturalism, and when we embrace multiculturalism, whether it's in our phenotype or the way we behave, we are self-hating. Meanwhile, someone monocultural will do everything in their power to divest, to move into these non-black neighborhoods, to look as non-black as possible. But it's suddenly not self-hating. And also, another response to them is like, okay, what the Exoticals, what we do with our body, if it's not hurting you, then why do you care? Like, seriously, I don't even care if somebody gets a plastic surgery. I don't care if they get a nose job. I don't care if they get lip fillers. That doesn't affect me at all. So why would I care? Why do you care what somebody else does with their body if it's not hurting you? Oh, what? Because you're mad that they simply don't want to look like you? That's what it is. That's really what it is. You're just mad because we have light-skinned women who enjoy being light-skinned, or we have white-passing women over here who enjoy being white-passing, or they like their blonde hair or their green eyes if they have light eyes or something. Or we have some Exoticals who have maybe light brown eyes and maybe they wear contacts that are even lighter or something. I don't know. So whatever it is, it's like what somebody else does with their body, why do you care? Isn't it interesting how whenever I have made videos about dark-skinned black women and their weaves and whatever, people will say, why are you in a black woman's business? Get out of her business. It's her hair. She can do whatever she wants with her body. Okay, so why can't you keep that same energy when it comes to mixed race or light-skinned black women? Here on this channel, we have the right to do whatever we want with our beauty. Oh, and also with the skin tanning, and skin bleaching. I saw that they were trying to call us skin bleachers. Okay, first of all, I was already born light skinned. Okay, so if you're a light skinned person, you have the right to enjoy tanning as dark as you want to. I've done this myself. So if I want to tan as dark as I want, or if I want to use bronzers and spray tan, then I have the right to do so. And then if I tan too much, or I no longer like it, I have the right to use my MSM or kojic acid soap to go back to my winter shade. I will never apologize for that. And that's how I knew that Paris Milan, that's how I knew that she was using kojic acid, because I know that if you use a combination of like kojic acid, MSM, glutathione, NAC, and then you stay out of the sun and you do all this other stuff, put all these creams and stuff on, I know that women in the bleaching community utilize those things in order to make their skin a totally different color, like if they were born dark skin, like Lupita. So that's how I knew that, and I'll never apologize for saying that. Be sure to check out my videos on Paris Milan, because now she has removed her whole channel because she feels like she's been doxxed or kind of like destroyed or whatever. But yeah, I'll never apologize for that. And then another piece of gossip that I heard about in the YouTube streets is that we pick and choose who is an Exotical based on who's pretty. No, Unambiguous black women pick and choose who's pretty based on who's benefiting from the isms. So it's not our responsibility to talk about the beauty of unambiguous dark-skinned black women. Again, you need to talk to Chrissy about that. You need to talk to Barbie Life 2.0. Go talk to Coffee Cuties and the other creators in your space if you want them to promote the beauty of unambiguous dark-skinned black women with the broad features and 4C hair, because that's not what my content is for. Do you see what I mean? How they're begging me to be the representation of the beauty of unambiguous dark-skinned black women? You see what I mean? And don't get me wrong, if you want to give me that pedestal, I don't mind that. I'll take the pedestal. Don't get me wrong. I will take all of the opportunities. If you want to make me the queen of the black community, I have no problem. I will be the Beyonce of the black community if you want me to be. But it sounds like you guys wanted your own exclusive space. So the Exotical space focuses on the content of multi-ethnic black women, multicultural black women, and the different types of black/mixed black women who are accused of benefiting from the isms. This channel specifically excludes unambiguous, monoracial, dark-skinned black women from my core audience because you guys asked for your own exclusive spaces. The word exclusive by definition literally means that you exclude yourself from other people's spaces and you allow other people to exclude you from their spaces. Okay, so you wanted to be exclusive, so you are excluded from my core audience. It doesn't mean you can't watch my channel, but I'm just saying as far as my core audience, like who I put in my thumbnails or whose story times I tell, I mean, that's what you guys wanted anyway. I don't go on a white woman's channel or a Japanese woman's channel and get mad and say, you're not promoting the beauty of multiracial black women. I don't say that because she's Japanese. Why is it her responsibility to represent multiracial black women? That's not her responsibility. So it sounds like a lot of these women are just mad that us Exoticals did a better job at branding and editing and talking about beauty and stuff. Another piece of gossip that I heard from the Pretty Girl Streets is that people are saying that we are all grifters. So again, this is another silencing tactic because they just don't like our content. Anytime that you are successful on YouTube and a hater doesn't like your content, they're going to say you're a grifter. And by the way, if I'm a grifter, I'm doing a pretty good job at it. So maybe if you actually stayed and learned from the Exoticals, you could become a successful grifter too. What do you think? I mean, capitalism as a whole really is grifting. I mean, it is. If you're participating in capitalism, you are a grifter because you are utilizing the labor of people from other countries who work in sweatshops. You're ordering merchandise and products off of Alibaba.com, and then you are reselling it on Amazon, or you are reselling your products and services at a higher price in a different market. That is grifting. Capitalism as a whole is grifting. So if you think that the Exoticals are grifters, I mean, me and everybody else on YouTube. So yeah, you're not going to be able to silence me with that talking point. Another piece of gossip about the Pretty Girl Club is that we are all hypocrites and clout chasers. Damn right. And I'm proud of it. And who gonna check me? I never said that I was not a hypocrite or a clout chaser. So I have no problem whatsoever being called hypocrite, clout chaser, grifter, fraud, liar, self-hater, ugly, fat, dark, black. There's no name that anybody can call me that's going to scare me off YouTube. I'm not Paris Milan because you guys didn't actually, like I don't feel the need to like seek validation from people who hate me or whatever. So you guys won't be able to pull a Paris Milan on me and get me to leave YouTube because I've been exposed or something, because nobody has exposed me. Nobody has actually exposed anything about me. So I really don't care. But everybody has hypocrisy in their personality. Okay, so a lot of people who they try to call us hypocrites, they don't understand that they themselves are hypocrites. Everybody is a hypocrite. Everybody chases clout in life. Now what? I'm still here. I've said from the beginning, though, on this YouTube channel, none of us are going to be perfect, okay? So I'm not going to be perfect on this YouTube. I'm going to mess up on my terminologies. I might mess up on my wording, or I might say certain things, but I don't care because at the end of the day, the Exotical talking points still stand. The Exotical space is still a valid space, okay? Beautiful women still deserve a safe space, so we can stop with the fake outrage. This is not a church group. We never said that we would not be hypocrites or that we would not chase clout or use dark femininity. Every racial group and cultural group has hypocrisy within it, so now what? And also, where do you think we learned our hypocrisy from? People love calling us hypocrites, but then they don't even give examples of what the hypocrisy is. It's not like it's going to cancel out that space. Nobody can cancel the exotical space. I said what I said. We already understand sociology on this channel, so you won't be able to use sociological manipulation tactics to scare us off YouTube. We already know that cancel culture doesn't work. But another piece of juicy gossip that I heard about the pretty girl streets is that we are paranoid, delusional, and deranged. We think everyone is jealous of us when they are not. So my question for those people is, when did any of the Exoticals say that all 7 billion people on this earth are jealous of us? That's an exaggeration. Also, I have no problem embracing being paranoid, delusional, or deranged. I mean, that's a typical talking point that they give all the time. Oh, you're just another delusional light skin. Oh, no one's jealous of you. This is just another variation of the no one's jealous of you talking point. But guess what? We are still successful. We still have a growing community with our delusional asses. We're still out here getting our YouTube views with our paranoid asses. We're still out here getting our life stories heard with our crazy asses. But another piece of gossip that the Pretty Girl Club told me about is that we use celebrity images of women who have altered their color or features and call them exoticals. For example, Rihanna, Beyonce, or any celebrity that has had plastic surgery. So again, they are obviously forgetting what unambiguous blackness is. Our standard of unambiguous blackness on this channel is directly based on what the Black women empowerment sector said, which is a combination of brown to dark skin with broad features and 4C hair. Basically, unambiguous Black women are the women who do not benefit from isms. So if you're saying that Rihanna and Beyonce and all those different women are quote unquote not exoticals, those women still benefit from isms. Not to mention the fact that I believe both of those women are actually mixed race. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Rihanna like a quarter Irish and isn't Beyonce Creole? So Black YouTube is not going to be able to control our talking points over here. They're not going to be able to sway our talking points, and they're upset because they can no longer control us. So sometimes when a person struggles with narcissism, if they can't control you, they will try to control other people's perception of you. And that seems to be what's going on with the Pretty Girl Club. Like, people are upset that we have increased influence. People didn't think that my channel would ever grow this big. To be honest, I didn't even think my channel would grow this big until within the past year. But that's all they're doing. They're just trying to control other people's perception of us. But that's why I was smart enough to make over 800 videos describing in detail every single one of my talking points. I got 800 videos backing up my talking points, baby. You've just got a couple of dusty live streams. Another piece of juicy gossip I heard, somebody said, Exoticals United uses story times of her subscribers to create lies on her channel. So isn't that interesting? So they're saying that everything I say about my personal self or any story time I tell or any experience I tell is just a lie that a subscriber has like emailed into me. So this is how I know that the person who said this does not identify as an exotical, because anybody who actually is knows that we all have similar stories. That's literally why we created this space. So isn't it interesting how when dark-skinned Black women come together and they say, hey, we've all experienced colorism or we've experienced misogynoir or whatever it is, people have no problem listening to their stories. In fact, you are considered racist if you question the stories of unambiguous Black women as a collective. But suddenly, when it's me, I'm just a liar and I'm just using random emails of other people's stories and I'm trying to incorporate it into mine, and I've just got this grandiose sense of self and I'm just lying about everything. So why is it that when dark-skinned Black women have similar stories, it's legit, but when exoticals have similar stories, we're all liars? Another piece of gossip that I heard is people are saying like there's more than one look of Blackness. So basically, Beyonce, Rihanna, they look like everyday Black women. That talking point. No, there's not. Okay, there actually is only one true standard of unambiguous Blackness, and I support that because that's what unambiguous Black women wanted. You guys said it yourself. Before I came on YouTube, people were talking about going through colorism, texturism, and featurism, and they said They wanted women who looked more like Whoopi Goldberg, Lupita Nyong'o, Coco Jones, Tika Sumpter, that sort of phenotype. They said that that is the true standard of unambiguous blackness. Ari Lennox, and I agree. So I'm sticking to that and supporting that. So you guys should actually be happy that we are backing out of your spaces and that we're not replacing you. Remember that talking point that you guys used to have? That you're trying to pretend that you no longer have? Yeah, I didn't forget that shit. So I love how as soon as the exotical space pops up on YouTube, suddenly they flip-flop and they say, well, there's more than one type of blackness anyway. So you guys need to basically get back into the unambiguous black community. Another talking point that they were saying about the Pretty Girl Club is that exoticals are not pretty. They hide behind pictures of women on Pinterest in order to improve their image. Well, not according to you guys, because the people who are claiming to know my identity or whatever, they're pulling up images of a gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous Instagram model. So what happened to that talking point? That talking point falls by the wayside. And then they're trying to pull up images of a runway model with dark red presets on the photo and dark blue presets on it, editorial fashion presets, and then they're saying she's a skin bleacher, and then they're trying to like equate it to me, like saying it's me. So I find it interesting how people say that, whoa, we're all ugly or we're not pretty, but every picture that you guys have pulled up saying that it's one of the exoticals has been drop dead gorgeous. And also, using pictures of women on Pinterest to improve our image, I don't have a problem with that. We're doing a pretty damn good job at doing that. All of my images that I use on this YouTube channel are drop dead gorgeous. You seem to be mad because unambiguous women themselves, the BWE content creators, and the former Golden Sphere content creators, they weren't good at promoting a positive images for their group. So that's why we just went ahead and created our own shit. And something that Blackistan needs to remember is that the majority of the real black community is unambiguous. Okay? Exoticals are a minority within a minority. So we deserve a voice just like anyone else. We deserve our own spaces just like anyone else. But another piece of juicy gossip that I heard from the Pretty Girl Club is that exoticals are causing MLS women in general to receive more hatred. We are causing biracials to receive more hatred. We're causing mixed race women to receive more hatred. We're causing light-skinned women in general to receive more hatred. That's a lie. You're putting me on too high of a pedestal. I don't have the power to control hundreds of thousands of random unambiguous black women that I've never even met. So do you see how high of a pedestal those women are putting me on? So Golden Goddess, she puts me on an extremely high pedestal because she's like, Exoticals United is causing heat to biracials. No. I don't control random people on the internet. So do you really think that people worship me that much to the point where now they're just following everything I do and I'm just this almighty goddess, like I'm just the next Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King or Mahatma Gandhi or Mother Teresa, or like I'm just Jesus Christ reincarnated and I just came over here and I'm controlling everybody and just making everybody just hate biracials. I'm making everybody hate MLS women. Do you see how grandiose of a view they actually have of the exotical space? That actually shows that they're deeply threatened by the unity that we have over here. They're deeply threatened by our influence. It's like, no, you're just putting me on a high pedestal because I simply am more successful than you. I simply have more influence than you. But guess what? You got to stop begging me to be your representation. I don't represent every single multiracial person. By the way, I thought that I was an unambiguous dark-skinned black woman. What happened to that talking point? So how could I be influencing people to bring heat towards mixed race people if I myself don't even represent mixed race people? Do you see how they flip-flop their talking point because they just want to insult this community? Another piece of gossip that I heard about the exotical space is that the Exoticals United Storytime series paints unambiguous black women as the bad guy. Well, guess what, sister? Unambiguous black women are not always the good guys. Just like how when the women in the colorism sector were talking about being bullied by light-skinned women, I had no problem sitting there watching the Dark Girls documentary. I had no problem listening to all the black content creators talk about colorism and talk about jealous light-skinned women or mean light-skinned women or whatever. I don't have a problem with you guys talking about us doing bad things to you. Like, sometimes we are the villain in the story, and that's life. So guess what? You are sometimes the villain in other people's story. So how you like them apples? The Storytime series is not going anywhere. Exoticals have a right to tell their life stories just like how you guys have been telling your life stories for the past few decades. Another piece of gossip that they said about the Exoticals is that we have no smoke for the white side. Like, we have no smoke for racist white people. So that's actually false. I actually do have quite a few videos on the Storytime series in particular where you've got all kinds of MLS women talking about their white sides or talking about their Hispanic side or whatever. But I will say, though, in terms of the algorithm favors controversy. So my channel specifically focuses on discussing things that other people are too scared to talk about. Nobody is scared of talking about racist white people. I mean, that's been the main plight of black YouTube for decades now. That's very boring. Everybody talks about how a lot of white people can be racist. But you know what people are scared to talk about? They're scared to talk about how black people can be racist. And so that's a part of what makes the exotical community so magnetic. It's the fact that we are willing to confront the community that is supposed to be shielded from being racist. And by the way, anytime somebody says that black people can't be racist, that's one of the most idiotic talking points I've ever heard in my life. That literally goes against the dictionary definition of racism. But another piece of gossip that I heard about the Pretty Girl Club is that we are one big giant echo chamber. Guess what? You're absolutely right. I am creating the biggest pretty girl echo chamber that you've ever heard of in your life. So this echo chamber isn't going anywhere. We deserve a safe space. Beautiful women deserve a safe space. We actually have women of all races who are a part of the exotical community. Pretty women deserve a safe space. Privileged women deserve a safe space. So yeah, every community on earth is actually a form of an echo chamber. That's literally the definition of a community. It means that you've got a shared experience, you've got shared beliefs. So having shared experiences and beliefs and then congregating based on those beliefs, that is by definition what an echo chamber really is. So I don't see the problem with that at all, and I'll never apologize for that. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.